Good morning, guys. So I just made some breakfast now, and then I'm about to go pump, and then I'll probably watch some Netflix. But I'll then do a little sit down and let you guys know what I actually used in my hospital bag. Okay guys, so as I said, welcome back to the channel. Today I will be discussing what I actually used in my hospital bag. I found that before, when I was watching these type of videos, it was very good to kind of see, you know, what people had packed and what they actually ended up using, so that actually informed me with regards to what I actually packed in my bag. So obviously, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for new videos every Sunday. And yeah, let's just go straight into it. So starting off, I just wanted to say that obviously everything that I used is dependent on the type of birth I had, as well as how long I stayed in the hospital. So I did have a natural birth. Over here you can check that video out, and I also discussed what actually happened in this video. So both of them are linked in the description bar. As I mentioned in the birth story, I did only stay for one night, so obviously everything that I'm discussing about what I used is for just one night stay. I did go through my what's in my hospital bag video before this video, before recording this, so that I could just kind of tell you guys what I actually used, what I didn't, and that video is linked below. But I will also just be showing you little clips of what I'm actually talking about and what I actually used. Okay, starting off with my hospital bag, the first thing, the most important thing, I mentioned it in the other video, was the documents that I had, the hospital documents. So after I've been in the hospital for about 2 hours and I was monitored, then they decided to admit me, and my husband was able to just grab the document and go. So I didn't even go with him, so I needed to make sure. So that's why it was very important that all the documents that I was going to need were right on top, for him to just do what needs to be done, and so he doesn't come back and just be like, where's this and where's that. So definitely make sure that your documents are in one little file for whoever you're going to be going with to the hospital. Throughout my entire birth, I really didn't use anything in my bag. After I was admitted, I just changed into the hospital gown, and then I was and I was just like I was done. So that's honestly about it. Whereas my husband, he was the one who had the bag with snacks, so he was snacking. Okay, so definitely snacks, because if you remember in the last video, I got like McDonald's before I got to the hospital, and then but he didn't, so then he was starving throughout the entire time. So the snacks actually were very helpful. I did pack my water bottle as well, but I never drank water. I did not want water, and so I don't think the bottle even ever came out of my bag. But there was the cup with a straw that I could have used, but as I said, I just didn't want water at the time. And then another thing is the lip balm. Everyone always, when I watched other videos, they always said that, you know, your lips get so dry. Guys, dry lips were the last thing on my mind. Okay, as I said, natural birth. I think with the lip balm, your dry lips, you'll notice it more maybe if you have epidural, because kind of there's no, you might not be experiencing any pain like that direction, so you might then notice that, hey, my lips are dry. For me, it was just pain here, so lips dry was like the last thing on my mind. So another thing is that my husband did not stay the night. We gave birth at we gave birth just before 1, then at around, then I was stitched up for an hour, then another hour of me breastfeeding, then I was moved to the recovery room. So at around 6 was when my husband left. Yeah, my husband, they closed, the visiting hours ended at 6, so at 6 o'clock he left. So because of that, he didn't use his toothbrush or the change of clothes that I'd gotten him. He did end up using the blanket that we took along, so because in the evening it did get a bit just chilly, so I was glad that I took that. Sorry guys, the light is doing the most right now because it's kind of overcast and then the sun keeps coming out, so yeah, so don't mind if there's like changes in my video. What I did want to say was that I ended up not taking the ball. I wanted to take the ball and I kind of advocated for taking the ball, but I ended up not taking it, and actually I was glad that I didn't, because in my mind I was just like, I'm gonna need this ball, I love how this ball is. But actually the hospital ones that they had were slightly lower, so I was able to, for the little bit that I did bounce on it, it actually felt much better than mine, which is much higher than the hospital one. Another thing I used in my bag were my toiletries. As I mentioned in my birth vlog, I bled a lot. Like I bled to a point where I was just like, are you guys sure I should be bleeding this much? So I did take a bath in the afternoon, and then I took another one the next morning before we left. So I did definitely use my toiletries, and then I didn't really use any makeup. I only used my eyebrow kit the next morning just before we left. And then I did pack a lot of PJs. I didn't use any of the PJs. I took a bath, changed right back into that, bought me another hospital gown, changed right back into it. Honestly, I did not want anything like on my skin, like just, even though my PJs were wide and the elastic wasn't too tight, I did not want to be covered in any way. So I just went back into the hospital gown, and that was it. Obviously I then used the brown clothes that I took to leave in, and once again, as I said, I had a dress that was very loose, and that was great. I needed just looseness, I didn't want to be like restricted in any way. And then I had packed some underwear, ended up not using it. I did have disposable panties, and I used those. I had one pack, it's a pack of 3. I ended up buying another one, so I was using my maternity pads on the disposable underwear and using that throughout I think for about a week from the time I gave birth. Then I packed, guys, I think I'd actually, honestly, looking back, I did overpack, but you know what, as I said, I would have rather had it and not used it versus wanted it and not had it, So yeah, I'm still a proponent of just packing what you think you'll need. But I did use my slippers after when I was in the recovery room, but I never put on the socks. I thought I'd put on the socks. I thought, when I was walking through while I was walking through the room while I was still laboring, that I'd have socks on. No, I needed to feel cold, so I was just walking barefoot everywhere. I also didn't use my breast pads because my milk hadn't come in yet. It only came in, I think, 3 days post-birth, so before I didn't need to use the breast pads. You saw that I had my bonnet on the entire time, and I'm so grateful for that bonnet, because I really wasn't worried about my hair, and it kept my hair nice underneath. And so when I was leaving, I was able to take off my bonnet and just fluff it up, and then looked nice again. Moving on to baby's bag. After we were in the recovery room, they did come by to take her to go give her a bath. I was still not like, just walking was such a mission, and I was just like, okay, I just gave it to my husband, like, take care of my child. And so they went, he went with them. All the toiletries that I packed, they ended up using. So the Dove head to toe wash, I think they used that. The surgical spirits, the cotton balls, they actually used the cotton balls to give her a bath and not a face cloth or anything like that. Then as well as the the cream, the bum cream, all of that. So all the stuff that I put in my bag definitely would take that. They then just put her in a little onesie, and then they wrapped her up with a muslin blanket. So onesies, muslin blankets were good. The nurse did mention that the muslin blanket is better for swaddling than the receiving blanket, and I got mine from Babies R Us. Then I'd mentioned that I was taking the Cuddle Grow because I was planning on using it in the car ride home. She was so tiny, guys. I couldn't imagine putting her in the car seat and whatever. So I just held her in my hands, and I put the seat belt over the both of us, and I sat at the back, and I was just like, drive slowly, okay. Not safe probably, but I was really nervous about putting her in the car seat for some reason. So I didn't use the Cuddle Grow that day, but I have been using it ever since. Then I also didn't use the Soother. The nurse did come, and she just kind of helped me with my daughter's latching, and just gave me a bit more advice about breastfeeding and all of that. And she did suggest that not to give her a pacifier until she's used to the breast. So you don't want to then kind of introduce two new things. So just introduce the breast first, and then pacify later. And so that's it for the clothing. Then I did just want to say that when it comes to the bags that we took, my husband did take his backpack and my suitcase. He took that with us after I'd been admitted. So after he admitted me, he went to the car and just grabbed all the bags, and then we only took my little girl's bag up when we were moving to the recovery room. So I would definitely think of just make sure that whatever you're taking is easy to carry around, because I remember we started off in the monitoring, the room where they monitor you to see whether you're actually going to be admitted or not, and then we moved to the labor room, and then we moved to the recovery room. So it's just a lot of moving around. So you want to make sure that whatever bag you're using, it's just kind of easy, especially because my husband was the one who's carrying everything. So I was glad I had the suitcase, because then I was kind of like swaddling up ahead, and he had the other bag, could just roll the other one with him. So that's just a piece of advice from me. So yeah, that's it. We actually recorded a video before the little one woke up. What? Right, so if you did enjoy the video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time.